At the gateway to Mount Athos, Ouranoupoli is more than a port. We explore its medieval tower, both seafronts and Main Street, with beaches, tavernas, island trips, and practical tips along the way. Ouranoupoli sits at the northern edge of the Mount Athos peninsula, where the village meets the sea. And almost everything seems to point toward the Holy Mountain. As we approach the harbor, the landmark ahead is the Tower of Prosforion, already documented in 1344 and probably older. Beside it, the compact pier handles far more traffic than its size suggests. Sightseeing cruises leave from here, so women and other visitors can view the monasteries from the sea, while licensed pilgrims use ferries and speedboats toward Daphne, the main port of Mount Athos. Sea taxis also operate along the peninsula. When several vessels arrive together, the narrow dock can become crowded very quickly. We step ashore beside the tower and follow the waterfront before turning west. The Tower of Prosforion is the largest and best preserved medieval tower in Halkidiki. It formed part of the dependency of Vatopedi Monastery and is documented from 1344. The tower currently remains closed, while a substantial restoration project has been planned for the monument and its surrounding buildings. The harbor explains why Ouranoupoli is known as the gateway to Mount Athos. But the village is much more than a departure point. Around 800 people live here permanently, while Greek and international visitors arrive throughout the year. Summer is simply the busiest season when holidaymakers, cruise passengers, and day trippers join the pilgrims who come here in every month of the year. The name Ouranoupoli literally means City of Heaven or City of the Sky. The modern village received the name in 1946, referring back to the ancient city of Ouranopolis that once stood nearby and had been founded in the late 4th century BC. Many hotels, restaurants, and other businesses also remain active beyond the summer season, reinforcing Ouranoupoli's role as a year-round destination. About a minute into our walk, we leave the tower behind and turn left onto the western seafront, a short coastal strip lined with cafés, bars, tavernas, restaurants, and souvenir shops. Some tables sit only meters from the water, while other businesses occupy the narrow lanes behind them. As we pass, several owners notice the camera, wave, or invite us inside. The western waterfront is compact, only a few hundred meters from the tower to its far end. That makes Ouranoupoli particularly easy to explore on foot, with the harbor, restaurants, beaches, and Main Street all close together. From Thessaloniki, the shorter driving route comes through Halkidiki via Polygyros and Ierissos. From Thessaloniki Airport, expect roughly 120 kilometers and around 2 hours, depending on traffic. Another option uses the Egnatia Odos before turning south toward Ierissos. This route includes motorway tolls, while the inland Halkidiki route avoids them. You can watch the complete journey in our City Walk Travels natural sound video, Driving in Greece, Thessaloniki to Mount Athos Halkidiki road trip. Drivers will also find two main paid parking areas, one near the entrance to Ouranoupoli and another at the eastern end of the village. Ouranoupoli is not simply somewhere to pass through on the way to Mount Athos. Nearby trips include Nea Rhoda and Ierissos, Ammouliani Island, and the small Drenia islets offshore. Together with its beaches and waterfront, they make Ouranoupoli a genuine holiday destination, as well as the gateway to the Holy Mountain. From From the western waterfront, we now turn uphill and join the main street. The simple spine of Ouranoupoli. Follow it downhill in the opposite direction, and it leads almost directly back to the tower and harbor, so getting your bearings here is easy. The central stretch is only a few hundred meters long and feels more like the main road of a compact seaside village than a conventional town center. Even if you stop for shops or a coffee, it is an easy walk, and the sea is never more than a short turn away through one of the side streets. At this end, the character changes immediately. Instead of tables directly beside the sea, we pass rental apartments, small hotels and guest houses, pizza and burger places, coffee takeaways, and everyday shops. Ouranoupoli receives visitors throughout the year because of Mount Athos, but summer adds a very different crowd. Couples, families, beach visitors, and people staying for several nights rather than simply waiting for a ferry. A little farther down, several restaurants appear on the right. Geographically, these sit only one street above the western seafront we have just walked, which shows how tightly packed the center really is. You can move from the sea to the main road in a minute or two through the small connecting lanes. As we continue toward the tower, the shops also reveal the village's close connection with Mount Athos. Alongside ordinary souvenirs and beach goods, there are stores specializing in religious icons, crosses, church objects, and other Orthodox items. The modern settlement grew around the old monastic estate after Greek refugees from Asia Minor arrived here following the population exchange of the 1920s. The tower later became closely associated with Sydney and Joyce Loch, who lived there during the 20th century and provided substantial support to the refugee community. By the time we reach the tower again, taxis can be found around the central harbor area, useful if you are staying at one of the larger resorts outside the village or need a local transfer. For another perspective on why so many people come here, our City Walk Travel's natural sound video, The Monasteries of Mount Athos, 4K cruise along the Holy Mountain, follows the coastline of the monastic peninsula. From the sea, visitors can see monasteries that cannot simply be approached by public road, making these cruises particularly important for women who are not permitted to enter Mount Athos itself. Ouranoupoli is convenient for pilgrims and ideal for a monastery viewing cruise, but also small enough for an easy seaside stay with restaurants, beaches, and short excursions nearby. From the tower, we now continue east, leaving the harbor behind and following the seafront toward the edge of the village. This final stretch is even shorter, only a few hundred meters. The road runs beside the water, with a free sandy beach immediately to our right and the sea opening toward Ammouliani and the small islands offshore. On the village side, brunch spots, cafés, fish restaurants, and traditional tavernas continue almost to the end. We also pass shops focused on local Greek products, including olives, olive oil, and honey, three products strongly associated with Halkidiki. Keep following the road, and you reach the second paid parking area at the eastern end, a practical place to leave the car and walk back toward the tower. For a longer day out, Ouranoupoli is also well placed for nearby Nea Rhoda and Ierissos, while Ammouliani can be reached by ferry from Tripiti. The Drenia islets lie opposite Ouranoupoli and can also be reached directly by boat from the village. That combination of easy beaches, waterfront food, island trips and Mount Athos views is why Ouranoupoli attracts summer visitors as well as pilgrims throughout the year. Subscribe to Best Travel Video for more travel videos. Before you go, you can find everything in one place: travel videos, city walks, tech guides, plus full ebook and audiobook versions. You can access it through the link in the description or the QR code on screen. Join as a YouTube member for full access to our entire library of premium PDF guides, past and future. And on Patreon, you'll find our full catalog of immersive audio walking guides, real city routes you can follow step by step wherever you are.